If you've ever worked in the restaurant industry, or if this is something that you're interested in doing, you might be confused by the specific English that they use. There's lots of different terminology used in kitchens, both front of house and back of house, with management. It can be very confusing from general English. Now, you might have a pretty good level when it comes to general everyday English, but with restaurant English, it's like learning a whole new language again. That's why I'm here today to teach you 5 quite unusual phrases that you will probably hear when working in a restaurant. So keep on watching. Like I said, there's lots of different terminology used in the restaurant industry. If you're working in the front of house or back of house, you will hear different terms and different words used. Maybe you're even confused about job roles in the restaurant. Well, you can watch my previous videos I've made on front of house and back of house job positions. Alright, so let's get started. So the first phrase I want to talk about is, well, it's actually just a word, rush. Okay? So you might hear someone say, oh, there's a bit of a rush on now, or there's a mad rush in the restaurant. So what this means is just simply it's very, very busy in the restaurant at that specific time. So generally you could have a lunch rush or a dinner rush, and it means during lunchtime or during dinner time, usually around 6 or 7 p.m, there will be a lot of people coming into the restaurant. There will be a sudden rush and it will get very busy. The situations you might hear this phrase used in is when talking with your manager or your supervisor. It's used especially when managing schedules. For example, your manager might ask you to work during the Saturday lunch rush. So that just means at Saturday lunchtime, when it's very busy, your manager wants you to work. The second phrase you've probably heard before, and that is happy hour. Happy hour can kind of be confusing for some people because it's not just necessarily 1 hour. It could be 2 hours, it could be 3 hours. I've even seen happy hours that are all day. Those are super happy hours. Happy hour is essentially a promotional period for the bar or the restaurant. During this time, they would offer a promotion or a deal on food or drinks. Quite commonly, it's buy one, get one free or 50% off. Well, that's kind of the same thing if you're with 2 people. So it just depends on the restaurant or the bar. The reason why restaurants and bars offer this happy hour is because it's a way to get more customers through the door, and it's a great advertising technique. It makes us happy. At least it makes me happy. The third restaurant term I want to talk about is cash float. Now, this has absolutely nothing to do with being able to float on water or in the sea if you can swim. It's got nothing to do with that. This is to do with money. So in restaurants, in the cash register or the cash till, you would have money, you would have cash. Now, if someone came to pay with a £50 note and their meal only cost £3.86, you would need to give them back a lot of change. So in the cash till, in the cash register, you should have what is called a cash float. So instead of just having big notes, big denominations of money, you would have it broken down. For example, using British currency, there would be £50 notes, £20, 10, 5, and then the coins, £2 coins, £1 coins, 50 pence, 20 pence, so on. So it just means that in your cash float you have lots of change, so there won't be an awkward situation where you cannot give the customer their change. Funny enough, this is a really big issue in Indonesia, where I currently live, and a lot of shops and restaurants here tend to say that they don't have small money. That means that they haven't organised their cash flow properly. What about where you live? Is there ever an issue with restaurants or shops not having a big enough cash flow? Do you ever get shortchanged? Let me know by writing a comment below this video. The fourth restaurant term I'm going to explain is doggy bag. Now, sometimes people might say a takeaway bag or some sort of equivalent because doggy bag just doesn't really sound that nice. A doggy bag is basically a bag or a box or a container, could be anything, that you would put your leftover food in to take home. The reason why we call it a doggy bag is because if you have a pet dog, you might give your leftover food to your dog. It depends on the situation and perhaps the style of restaurant of whether you can ask for a doggy bag or not. Sometimes it might not be appropriate to take your leftover food, especially if it's just a little bit. But if you're anything like me and you think waste not, want not, then just go for it. You can ask for a doggy bag, or somebody might ask you for a doggy bag if you're working in a restaurant. It just means that the customer wants whatever is left on their plate to be packed up to take away. But if you're the waiter in the restaurant and you're not too sure if they want those 4 grains of rice left on their plate also, just ask them. Just say, what exactly would you like to take away? Because sometimes they might not want every single little bit of food on their plate. Okay, and the 5th and final phrase, probably the most important I think, is what we call a 2-minute check or a 2-minute check back. In the restaurant industry and really any customer service type of industry, there's a theory that you should check that your customer is satisfied after about 2 minutes. In the case of a restaurant, once you have served the food to your customer, for example, you've just given them the starters, after about 2 minutes and you can see that they've actually eaten something, you should go back to their table and ask them if everything is okay. It could just be a simple question like, excuse me, is everything okay with your food? Is there anything else you would like? It doesn't need to be a big display of affection or anything like this. So the 2-minute check back would be after, it depends on the style of restaurant, but it could be after every course. So after the starter, 2 minutes, go and check. After you deliver the main meal, wait 2 minutes and go and check. Could be even after delivering drinks to the table. Alright, so that's it. That's the 5 phrases that you will probably hear when you're working in a restaurant. I hope this helps, and if you've already worked in a restaurant, let me know if you've ever heard those phrases before. If you're interested in working in a restaurant, hopefully those phrases will help you. If it was a helpful video, give me a big thumbs up and don't forget to click the subscribe button. I'll be posting videos every Saturday to help you improve your English in relation to the tourism and hospitality industry. Why don't you try using these 5 terms straight away by writing some example sentences in the comments below. If you've got any problems, I'm here to help you. Okay, thank you for watching and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Have you already seen my previous video? And while you're here, why don't you subscribe?